Welcome back to Crash Reviews. My name is Crash, and this is my review for Cyberpunk Night City Wire Episode 5. Now, I, like most of the gaming world, am avidly awaiting Cyberpunk 2077. I have been waiting for Cyberpunk 2077 for a very long time. I remember when the original trailer dropped for the for Cyberpunk 2077. If you haven't watched it, it's a fantastic trailer, holds up even today. It's over 7 years old, and it is a amazing trailer. I mean, it's actually probably about 8 years old now, between creation and dropping. Anyway, it's nearly 8 or over 8 years old. It is a really good trailer, and it still holds up graphically today. It looks good, but Night City Wire Episode 5. So we get into a lot more meat of how Keanu Reeves is part of the series, Johnny Silverhand's character. We get a lot more of the music as well. There's over 150 songs that are written and created for Cyberpunk 2077. There is over 7 hours of music in Cyberpunk 2077. Unique music made for the game. That's amazing. I personally am not a huge music person outside of video games and movies and things like that, but music is absolutely essential for setting the mood in games and movies. It 100% is. You notice when there's a bad soundtrack. When there's a great soundtrack, I don't want to say you don't notice, but I don't notice the soundtrack as much when there's a great soundtrack, because it flows and blends into the movie or the video game, and it feels like a natural part of what's going on. Things in the video game are hyping up. The music hypes up and gets you, revved up and going and everything like that. You want something more solemn and sad, the music shifts to solemn and sad. The music sets the tone and the mood of the scene. And when a soundtrack is bad or, sound design is bad, you notice. It's jarring. It ruins immersion. And sound is very, very important, especially to a very cinematic video game like this with a lot of deep immersion with that first-person view. I know a lot of people want a third-person view. I personally am not one of them. I want the first-person view. I want immersion. I want to be V. I don't want to play V. I want to be V. I want to be in the cyberpunk world. I don't want to play in the cyberpunk world. I want to be part of it. I want it to be my story, not V's story. And so I am very much looking forward to the first-person view. I think the combat looks great. I've seen some people criticizing it. I think it looks fantastic. It's not Call of Duty. It's not going to have those snappy, high-end gun mechanics. But even then, I think the gun mechanics look good. One of my favorite RPGs, I know it's a little cliche at this point to, call out Mass Effect 2, but Mass Effect 2 is a perfect example of an RPG with really good shooting elements that, aren't, a shooter. It's an RPG with shooting elements, and the gunplay in that was really solid. And that had powers and all kinds of crazy stuff in it as well, and so does this. But Night City Wire Episode 5. Lots on sound design and music. Super psyched. Super looking forward to that. But the Keanu stuff really, really interested me. I really enjoyed seeing him doing the motion capture, doing the facial capture, doing the voicing, and learning just how big a part of the game he is. Now, I know the reaction to him from fans actually prompted them to expand his role in the game. He was always going to be a big part of the game, but they expanded his role even further, and he is now the second biggest character. He has the second most dialogue in the game after V. And he's from what I understand, he's in a lot more scenes, especially transitional periods, like we see the elevator scene in Night City Wire Episode 5. We see this elevator scene where he's talking about not trusting Judy the Ripper Doc. No, Judy the brain dance lady. He's talking about not trusting her and everything like that. I imagine that's the kind of scene they put in. It might be a scene that was always in, but I imagine that is the sort of scenes they added into the game to expand Keanu's role after the incredible fan outpouring of love for him being in the game, which is totally understandable. And I mean, that E3 appearance by him will probably go down in legend as one of the best E3 appearances ever and reveals ever. But I really, really love seeing how they did Johnny Silverhand, how Keanu became Johnny Silverhand, and it's kind of an interesting role for him because Keanu, while his characters tend to be very serious characters, they're not usually abrasive, so to speak. And Johnny Silverhand is really kind of a mean guy. He's not nice. He is kind of mean. He's rude. He's abrasive. He's not a nice person. And you really do see that. And it's kind of odd seeing that coming from Keanu. But I absolutely loved it. I'm really, really hoping that the rumors are true, though. There's a lot of rumors floating around that they're looking at a Cyberpunk movie with Keanu Reeves as Johnny Silverhand. That would be amazing. I think that would be incredible. But Night City Wire, episode 5, it's our last one. We're not getting any more Night City Wires, which is a bit of a bummer since we've got to wait 3 weeks for the game to come out. And I think another one would actually be good to help bring the hype back up after the last delay they did. Because, I noticed a lot of hype died for the game. And I won't lie, I had some hype die off too. Because I was so psyched for the game to come out, and we would have been playing it for a couple of days now. I was so psyched for it to come out, and that delay just really kind of crushed a lot of the fervor for the game. And I think another episode of Night City Wire, some more gameplay previews to help bring it back up would not be a bad choice. But they said this is our last one, so it's our last one. They did say we're going to get a PlayStation gameplay thing like we got for the Xbox a couple days before the Night City Wire. So that's good. Or was it the day before the Night City Wire? I think it was the day before. But so we're going to get a PlayStation gameplay, so probably a PS4 Pro and a PS5 showing off the gameplay between them, just like they did with the Xbox One X, Xbox One X, and Xbox Series X. I hate Xbox's naming scheme. I hate it. I loved the 360, hated the name. Name made no sense to me. Never did. Loved the original Xbox, loved the 360. Was not a fan of the Xbox One personally. I very much prefer the PS4 over the Xbox One. But it's not a brand loyalty thing because I hated the PS3. I thought it was a garbage console. Loved my PS2 though. I don't have brand loyalty. I have whichever console I find better. I'm still not 100% sold between the Series X and the PS5. I do have an extensive PlayStation library now for the PS4, so that definitely does color my choices there. But this isn't a debate on PS5 versus Xbox Series X, so I apologize there. I'm just kind of curious which one it's going to play the best on. I do personally have a Cyberpunk Collector's Edition coming to me for my PS4. So I will be doing an unboxing for that when it arrives. I will go ahead and film that. I'm super psyched, super looking forward to it here in less than 3 weeks now. Should be arriving at my door. But I am utterly psyched for Cyberpunk. I absolutely love everything that we've seen about it. I'm looking forward to the expansions. CD Projekt Red is known for doing great expansions. The expansions for Witcher 3 were amazing. And I personally loved Witcher 1 and Witcher 2. I actually like Witcher 3's side quests more than I like Witcher 3's main story. There was always something for somebody to find in the side quests. But I am actually a little bit curious to see Cyberpunk's main story, because they did say that they actually shortened the main story a little bit because Witcher 3 didn't see as many complete playthroughs. A lot of people got pretty far in the game but never completed it. And I will admit, I am one of them. I have not completed Witcher 3's main story. I know, bad crash, but I didn't complete it. I need to go back, and I want to go back, and I want to complete it. but it's kind of like Morrowind and Oblivion and Skyrim. I mean, you play and you kind of do what you want to do within the game, and then you just kind of fall off and peter off. And I mean, I played Morrowind. I put hundreds of hours into Morrowind, and I don't believe I ever beat the story. It was never important to me to complete that story. I did what I wanted to do within the game, and I love the game for the ability to do that. And Witcher 3 kind of followed a similar track for me. Even though it's a much more, story focused game, it was a little too long. And they've said they've shortened Cyberpunk to fit that because they want more people to see Cyberpunk all the way through. And so I'm kind of curious. I don't want them to shave too much off of it, but I definitely don't want it to be so long that a lot of people don't complete it. But those are a few of my thoughts in addition to my review of Night City Wire, episode 5, our final episode. Little thoughts on Cyberpunk development, things like that. As more news breaks, I'll definitely cover it. And when the game comes out, I'll definitely be doing a probably lengthy, extensive review, maybe several different videos reviewing different aspects of the game. But until next time, I have been Crash. This was my review for Night City Wire, episode 5. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any uploads from me. And feel free to engage me in the comments. I'm more than happy to talk back and forth and everything like that. Till next time, I've been Crash.